Today, we're going to hit the pavement with some key questions for your CDL Class B permit test study guide. This test covers crucial knowledge for operating a single commercial vehicle, and safety is always our top priority. Let's get started. What is the first thing you should do if your vehicle goes into a skid? Stay off the brakes and steer in the direction of the skid. This allows you to regain control by letting the wheels roll. All right, what's next? What is the minimum tread depth for tires on the steering axle of a commercial vehicle? 432 inch. Adequate tread on steering tires is vital for control and safety. Moving on. How often should you check your mirrors while driving a commercial vehicle? Constantly, as part of your regular scanning of the road ahead and around you. Mirrors are your eyes to blind spots and surrounding traffic. So, what's next? What does it mean if your low air pressure warning light and buzzer come on while driving? The air pressure in your service air tank has fallen below 60 psi, or half of the compressor cutout pressure. This is a critical warning indicating a serious air pressure drop. Next on our list, what is the correct way to hold the steering wheel when driving a large commercial vehicle? With both hands firmly on opposite sides of the wheel, e.g., 9 and 3 o'clock. This provides maximum control and stability. Okay, what's after this? What is the cut-in pressure for the air compressor governor? The pressure at which the air compressor starts pumping air into the tanks. This maintains sufficient air pressure in the system. Let's move on. What is the most important reason for wearing a seatbelt in a CMV? It protects you from serious injury or death in a crash. Seatbelts are your best defense in an accident. What about this next one? What does ABS stand for in relation to braking systems? Anti-lock braking system. ABS helps prevent wheel lockup during hard braking. On to the next question. How many reflective warning triangles are you required to carry in your commercial vehicle? 3. These are essential for roadside emergencies and warnings. Moving forward, what should you do if your air pressure warning light and buzzer come on and the pressure continues to drop? Stop the vehicle safely immediately and have the air system checked. Don't continue driving with critically low air pressure. Let's consider the next one. What is the purpose of the slack adjusters in an air brake system? To adjust the distance the brake shoes move when air pressure is applied to compensate for lining wear. They keep your brakes properly adjusted. And the next point, when driving, how far ahead should you look down the road? 12 to 15 seconds. This allows you time to react to potential hazards. What's next? What is the proper procedure for testing the low air pressure warning signal? With the engine off, turn the electrical power on and pump the brake pedal until the warning light and buzzer activate, typically below 60 psi. This confirms the warning system is working. Moving on to this. What is the function of the air compressor in an air brake system? It pumps air into the air storage tanks. The compressor is the heart of the air brake system. All right, let's see. What is brake lag in an air brake system? The time it takes for the air to flow through the lines from the brake pedal to the brake chambers and for the brakes to engage. There's always a slight delay with air brakes. What's after this? What is the critical component that converts air pressure into mechanical force to apply the brakes? Brake chambers. These are where the air pressure translates into braking action. Next question. What does it mean if your vehicle experiences brake fade? The brakes lose effectiveness due to excessive heat buildup from overuse. This reduces your stopping power. Let's get to this one. What are the 3 distinct braking systems that make up a typical air brake system? Service brake, parking brake, and emergency brake. Each system has a specific function for safe operation. Okay, what's next? What should you do if your steering wheel has too much free play, more than 10 degrees or 2 inches on a 20-inch wheel? Get it repaired before driving the vehicle. Excessive play indicates a dangerous mechanical issue. Moving on. What is the purpose of draining the air tanks daily on vehicles with air brakes? To remove water and oil that collects in the bottom of the tanks, which can freeze or cause corrosion. This prevents damage and ensures system integrity. So what's next? How do you check the slack adjusters on an air brake system during a pre-trip inspection? Pull on them by hand. If they move more than 1 inch, they need adjustment. Proper slack adjustment is vital for brake effectiveness. Next on our list, what should you do if you are being tailgated? Increase your following distance to provide more space for both vehicles. Give yourself more room to react if the tailgater makes a mistake. Okay, what's after this? What does it mean if the air compressor governor cuts out, stops pumping air? The air tanks have reached their maximum operating pressure, cutout pressure, typically 120 to 140 psi. This indicates the system is working correctly to maintain pressure. Let's move on. What is the maximum acceptable air pressure loss for a single vehicle, non-combination, with the engine off and the brakes off? Less than 2 psi in 1 minute. Any higher loss indicates a leak that needs attention. What about this next one? What is the purpose of the safety relief valve on the first air tank? It protects the air tanks and the rest of the system from too much pressure, usually set to open at 150 psi. This valve prevents overpressurization. On to the next question. What should you do before backing up a commercial vehicle? Get out and check all around the vehicle and use a spotter if available. GOAL. Get out and look. Moving forward, what is the safest way to descend a long, steep downgrade? Select a low gear before starting down the grade and use engine braking, supplementing with light, short brake applications. This saves your service brakes from overheating. Let's consider the next one. What is the importance of a pre-trip inspection? To find defects that could cause a crash or breakdown, ensuring the vehicle is safe to operate. It's your responsibility to ensure the vehicle is safe before every trip. And the next point, what is the cutout pressure for the air compressor governor? The pressure at which the air compressor stops pumping air into the tanks. This maintains the upper limit of your air pressure. What's next? What is the maximum acceptable air pressure loss for a combination vehicle, tractor trailer, with the engine off and the brakes off? Less than 3 psi in 1 minute. Combination vehicles allow for slightly more air loss due to more connections. Moving on to this, what is the purpose of entry-level driver training (ELDT) regulations for new CDL applicants? To ensure new drivers receive consistent, standardized training from certified providers before taking their skills test. ELDT standardizes the foundational training for new drivers. All right, let's see. What is the primary cause of commercial vehicle rollovers? Taking a turn too fast. Speed in curves is a major danger for CMVs. What's after this? When conducting an air brake check, how do you test the service brakes? At 5 miles per hour, push the brake pedal firmly. The vehicle should stop smoothly and pull to one side. A smooth stop without pulling indicates proper brake function. Next question. What should you do if your vehicle catches fire while driving? Pull over safely, shut off the engine, call for help, and use an appropriate fire extinguisher if safe. Safety is paramount. Assess the situation before acting. Let's get to this one. What are the signs of tire failure while driving a CMV? Loud bang, vibration, thumping sound, or steering difficulty. Be alert for these warnings of a blowout. Okay, what's next? What is the correct way to use engine brakes or retarders? They should be used to supplement your service brakes, especially on downgrades to help maintain a safe speed. They help control speed without overheating service brakes. Moving on. Why is it important to check the oil level before each trip? To ensure the engine is properly lubricated and prevent damage. Proper lubrication is vital for engine health. So what's next? What should you do if you encounter a distracted driver on the road? Increase your following distance, pass carefully if safe, or simply stay away from them. Maintain a safe distance from erratic drivers. Next on our list, what is the required air pressure for the air tanks before driving a CMV with air brakes? Enough pressure to allow the brakes to operate safely, typically 100 to 125 psi. Don't drive until your air pressure is in the operating range. Okay, what's after this? What is the purpose of the parking brake? Spring brake system. It uses powerful springs to hold the brakes on when air pressure is removed, serving as a parking brake and emergency brake. Spring brakes are a fail-safe system. Let's move on. What is the correct response if your service brakes fail completely? Downshift to a lower gear, pump the brake pedal, apply the parking brake cautiously, and look for an escape ramp or safe stopping area. This is a critical emergency. See procedure. What about this next one? What is the general rule for carrying hazardous materials in a CMV? You must have a hazmat endorsement and display proper placards if required. Special training and labeling are necessary for hazardous materials. On to the next question. What should you do if you are forced off the road? Stay calm, grip the steering wheel firmly, slow down, and gradually steer back onto the road when safe. Maintain control and re enter traffic smoothly. Moving forward, what is the safest way to maintain control of your vehicle on a slippery road? Reduce speed, increase following distance, and avoid sudden steering or braking. Smooth inputs are key in adverse conditions. Let's consider the next one. What is the typical application pressure gauge in an air brake system used for? To show how much air pressure you are applying to the brakes. It indicates the force you're exerting on the brakes. And the next point, what is the primary purpose of the pre-trip vehicle inspection required for CDL holders? To identify defects that could cause an accident or breakdown and ensure the vehicle is safe to operate. Safety starts before you even move the vehicle. What's next? What does gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, refer to? The maximum operating weight or rating of a vehicle as specified by the manufacturer, including the vehicle's chassis, body, engine, and all fluids, fuel, accessories, driver, passengers, and cargo. It's the maximum safe weight of the vehicle itself. Moving on to this, when should you use your vehicle's horn? To warn other drivers of a potential danger or to get their attention. Use it to prevent accidents, not out of anger. All right, let's see. What is the importance of checking your tires regularly for proper inflation and damage? Properly inflated and undamaged tires are essential for safe handling, braking, and preventing blowouts. Tires are your only contact with the road. What's after this? What should you do if you are feeling drowsy while driving? Pull over to a safe place and rest. Driving while fatigued is extremely dangerous. Next question. What is the purpose of the entry-level driver training ELDT requirement for CDL applicants? To ensure new drivers receive consistent, standardized training from certified providers before taking their skills test. It creates a baseline of foundational knowledge for new drivers. Let's get to this one. What is the maximum acceptable air leakage rate for a Class B straight truck, single vehicle? Less than 2 psi in 1 minute, or 3 psi if it has 3 or more axles. Knowing your vehicle's specific leakage rate is crucial. Okay, what's next? What is the purpose of air brake chambers? They convert the air pressure into mechanical force to move the slack adjuster and apply the brakes. They are the actuators of the air brake system. Moving on. What are the potential hazards of driving through puddles or standing water? Hydroplaning, losing control, or getting stuck. Puddles can hide hazards and reduce traction. So what's next? How long do you need to hold a commercial learner's permit CLP before you can take the CDL skills test? A minimum of 14 days. This allows you time to practice under supervision. And that wraps up our study session for the CDL Class B permit test. Mastering these fundamentals will give you a strong foundation for safe and successful commercial driving. Keep studying and good luck on your test.